SEA 2025. R2 SWAN didn't just appear, it dwarfed every expectation. Discovered in September 2025, it's already one of the most luminous comets ever recorded, with a tail 5 times the width of the full moon and energy emissions that defy natural explanation. Yet what's raising the most eyebrows isn't just its size or brightness, it's the eerie timing. SWAN is on a near-identical path to 3I/ATLs, an interstellar object already suspected of harboring advanced technology, plasma shielding, an energy core, and indications of controlled propulsion. If you're still watching, subscribe now. You crave more than answers. You seek what lies beyond. Subscribe now and be part of the few who never stop searching. These two celestial giants, arriving from different corners of the galaxy, now move in synchrony toward the Sun and possibly toward each other. Their synchronized approach has triggered a flurry of debate across the scientific and strategic communities. Is this an extraordinary coincidence, or are we witnessing the operation of something far beyond natural cosmic mechanics? The fact that both objects show signs of engineered features while remaining formally unacknowledged by space agencies adds to the suspicion. Their perihelion passes, just days apart, may trigger interactions, collisions, or maneuvers that reveal intentions currently hidden behind raw data and silence. As ancient structures like Stonehenge and the pyramids enter the conversation for their astronomical alignments, some researchers suggest we're not just seeing visitors, we're reliving a cycle, one that humanity may have seen before, but forgotten. SEA 2025. R2 SWAN is here, and it's not alone. Two massive interstellar objects, SEA 2025, R2 SWAN and 3I/ATLs, are now on nearly identical paths toward the Sun. Their trajectories match, their timing is precise, and their origins independent, separated by light years, different regions of the galaxy, but now they arrive together. That's not just rare, that's unprecedented. SWAN is 100 times bigger than 3I/ATLs. Its tail alone spans 5 times the width of the full moon, visible from Earth, burning bright with energy levels far beyond anything seen in natural comets. It isn't just bright, it's luminous on a scale that breaks the limits of known solar system behavior, and it's not just light. There's power coming off this thing, power that doesn't add up. Controlled energy, directed emissions, signs that this might not be the byproduct of natural heating, but the output of something managed, something engineered, something with intent. Meanwhile, 3I/ATLs continues its course, still glowing emerald, still surrounded by a coma larger than Jupiter, but now, analysts are talking openly about what they see inside that coma. Not dust, not vapor, but structure, a plasma shield, a concentrated energy core, traces of controlled propulsion. 3I/ATLs doesn't just drift, it adjusts, it responds, it reacts. The combination of the two, SEA 2025, R2 SWAN and 3I/ATLs, on similar paths, arriving at the same time from separate origins, has triggered the biggest wave of speculation and concern in the modern history of space observation, because this is no longer just about rare objects. It's about purpose. Both exhibit chemical compositions that don't match known cometary bodies. Both display energy levels that suggest they are not passive, and both are moving in ways that suggest coordination. That's not a theory. That's based on motion tracking, spectral data, and direct observation. That's what the numbers show. But here's the deeper problem: the silence. Despite everything, despite the visibility, the anomalies, the energy emissions, official space agencies aren't saying anything. No public statements, no press briefings, no alerts, and the world is watching. Because these two objects are about to reach perihelion, almost simultaneously. They'll pass behind the Sun, vanishing from direct view, and then if all continues, they'll re-emerge. But what shape they'll be in when they return is unknown. They might interact, gravitationally, energetically, even physically. And if they do, the result could be massive. Not just in brightness or structure, but in meaning. Because the characteristics on display, especially from 3I/ATLs, go beyond natural behavior, the controlled plasma, the shielded emissions, the signs of propulsion. This isn't just a rogue object coasting through space, this looks deliberate, which raises the question no one wants to ask out loud. Are we looking at probes? Observation platforms are tracking heat signatures, mapping tail composition, and scanning for communication signals. And while no clear transmission has been received, there are spikes, pulses, irregular bursts in wavelengths that suggest modulation, nothing conclusive, but enough to raise alarms. And then there's the timing. Not just between the objects, but with our history. There's growing discussion among researchers about ancient structures, pyramids, Stonehenge, monuments that align with astronomical events, structures that encode cycles of time. Some of those cycles point to a pattern, events repeating every few tens of thousands of years, a rhythm in the sky that our ancestors may have witnessed and encoded. And now the rhythm returns, two interstellar objects, arriving at the same time, with signatures that challenge everything we know about comets, about celestial mechanics, about natural motion. Some are calling this a cosmic coincidence, others say it's more than that. Because if these objects are probes, if they're scanning, observing, even communicating, then this might not be a first contact. It might be a follow-up. We might be seeing part of a pattern, a recurring cycle of contact, observation or monitoring, possibly recorded in stone by civilizations that came before us. Civilizations who didn't have satellites, but who watched the sky closely enough to notice when something didn't belong. Now we're seeing it again. SIA 2025. R2 SWAN. Too big, too bright, too controlled. 3I/ATLs. Too strange, too reactive, too engineered, and both heading toward the sun, where their behavior will be tested under maximum radiation and gravitational pressure. That's the moment that could answer the biggest question of all: are they natural, or are they machines? Because if they're not natural, then they are here for a reason, and if they're here for a reason, then that reason matters. It matters to science, to security, to the future. Some have even proposed that the energy outputs seen from these objects, especially SWAN, are far beyond what a passive comet could produce, suggesting not just energy collection, but possible storage, possible intention. Are they studying us? Are they waiting? Or are they communicating in a way we don't yet understand? These questions aren't wild speculation. They're grounded in the fact that what we're seeing does not fit. The trajectories, the emissions, the control, none of it aligns with natural behavior, and the historical silence from official agencies only fuels the concern that this may be bigger than we're being told. Whether it's coincidence, coordination, or contact, something is happening, something with consequences that reach beyond astronomy. This changes how we think about the universe. If these are probes, then someone sent them. If they're engineered, then someone built them. And if they're coordinated, then someone is watching. Right now, our instruments can still track them. Barely. But as they vanish behind the sun, the blackout begins. That window, the one where we can't see them, can't track them, can't respond, will be critical. When they return, their condition will tell us everything. Did they collide? Did they merge? Did they change trajectory? Or did something else happen? Something we're not prepared for. The next few weeks may be the most important period in observational astronomy since the discovery of interstellar objects began. Not just because of what we'll learn about SWAN or Atlas, but because of what we'll learn about ourselves. Are we ready for answers? Are we prepared for the possibility that these aren't just rocks, that they aren't just relics of distant systems, but part of an intelligence operating on a timescale and technology far beyond our own? If so, then this isn't a comet flyby. It's a message. And the silence from official agencies speaks louder than words, because silence, in this context, isn't ignorance. It's control. The stakes are no longer scientific curiosity, they're existential. We're being observed, possibly contacted, and it's happening in real time. Two objects, one pattern, a cosmic event unfolding in the space between what we know and what we fear to believe, so stay locked in. This isn't over, not by a long shot, and if you want to know what happens when they reappear, when the blackout ends, then hit like, share this with people who need to see it. Comment with your thoughts, and subscribe, so you don't miss what comes next. The sky is speaking, and it's speaking in pairs. The blackout begins now. SIA 2025 R2 SWAN and 3I/ATLs are both behind the sun, out of view, out of reach. Beyond radar lock, it's the moment everyone has been waiting for and dreading. For a few short days, the most enigmatic objects humanity has ever tracked will vanish behind a wall of solar radiation. No ground-based telescope can see them. No orbiting observatory can track them. The only thing anyone can do now is wait, and that's silence. It's deafening. Because what happens during this window could change everything. This isn't a routine solar occlusion. These aren't normal comets. SWAN, with its monstrous tail and impossible luminosity. ATLs, with its plasma shield, energy core, and maneuvering signatures. Two objects from opposite ends of the galaxy, meeting at the same point in space and time. How? Why? No one has answers, only data. And every line of that data challenges the laws we thought were fixed. These things shouldn't exist. Not together. Not like this. Not now. And yet, here they are, moving in lockstep. Coordinated or coincidental, no one can say for sure. But either possibility is profound. Because if it's a coincidence, it's the most statistically improbable one in recorded astronomical history. Two interstellar objects, with chemical signatures that don't match anything in our catalog, arriving on converging orbits, both near their peak brightness, both demonstrating anomalies, at the exact same time. That's not coincidence, that's narrative. That's design. And if it's coordination, then the implications are even more staggering. If these objects are probes, automated or controlled, then we are not just observing them, we're being watched back. And that changes the entire paradigm. Because suddenly it's not about distance, it's not about scale, it's about intent. Who sent them? Why now? And what are they looking for? Their energy signatures remain unexplained. SWAN's output defies cometary modeling. The tail is not just long, it's active, shifting, responsive. Not in random chaotic ways, but with coherence, with structure. And 3I/ATLs, smaller, yes, but far more complex. The signs of propulsion, the electromagnetic field shielding, the persistent green glow, absent any diatomic carbon, it's all too much to ignore. This isn't just unclassified astronomy, it's unclassified reality. Every agency, every observatory, every defense monitoring system is on edge. Not because they fear an attack, but because they don't know what comes next. And the people who are supposed to give answers aren't talking. Where's NASA? Where's ESA? Where's the Air Force? Why no press conferences? Why no live tracking? Because they don't know, or they do, and they're choosing silence. And that silence raises questions louder than any announcement. What if this is contact? Not direct, not in the movies and microphones sense, but contact through technology. Observation, long-range survey. A slow, deliberate scan of Earth and its inhabitants. Some believe these objects have been here before, not these exact ones, but ones like them. That the monuments left by ancient civilizations, aligned with stars, with solstices, with specific celestial movements, are more than architecture. They're warnings, records, messages. That these events follow cycles, patterns measured in tens of thousands of years, patterns only the sky could keep. And maybe the ancients did see these objects. Maybe they watched as humanity watches now, helpless, awed, uncertain. Maybe they left us markers to recognize when the cycle returns. And now, it has. Stonehenge. The Great Pyramid. The Nazca Lines. Their alignments aren't arbitrary. They speak to sky events. Events like this. Two interstellar objects. Aligned in time. Aligned in space. Everything points to intention. SWAN may be the carrier, a massive body, wide-tailed, energy-rich. ATLs, the scout. Smaller, faster, equipped with systems, shielding, propulsion, control, a tandem approach. One makes the entrance. The other does the work. This isn't just theory. It's what the data supports. Spectral analysis shows metals we don't see in nature at these ratios. Elevated nickel, suppressed iron, cyanogen concentrations far beyond anything in natural comets, signals that suggest engineering, not geology. We're not talking about comets anymore. We're talking about craft, or relics of craft. And when they emerge from behind the sun, we'll know more. If their trajectories are unchanged, if they simply pass through and drift out into interstellar space, then maybe we caught a glimpse of something rare, technological debris from an ancient wandering species. But if they maneuver, if they decelerate, shift course, approach Earth or another planet, then this becomes something else entirely. Then we're no longer observers. We're participants. The world isn't ready for that. Not politically, not scientifically, not psychologically. But the cosmos doesn't wait for our readiness, it operates on its own scale. And now, that scale has intersected with us. This is the moment before the curtain rises. This is the pause before the answer. Because when the sun releases them back into visibility, all eyes will turn to the sky. The world will watch. And the truth, whatever it is, will arrive with them. And what if they're gone? What if they don't reappear? What if solar telemetry shows no outbound trajectory? What if they remain hid? Then we ask a different set of questions. Not what are they, but where are they now? Because disappearance would be worse than confirmation. It would mean they didn't just pass by. It would mean they did something behind the sun, changed, docked, transmitted, landed, and we would have no idea. This is why every sensor is pointed up. Why every deep space radio dish is powered on. Not because anyone knows what's happening, but because everyone knows something is. It's no longer theoretical, it's happening. Right now. And yet most people don't know. They're not hearing it on the news. They're not seeing it in headlines. The silence from official sources has created a vacuum, and in that vacuum, speculation thrives. But it's not just fringe theorists anymore. It's mainstream scientists, retired intelligence officers, aerospace engineers, people with credentials, people with access, people who are watching the data and saying, publicly, this is not normal. That matters. Because when those voices break ranks, you know something big is coming. This is not just a scientific moment, it's a civilizational one. The difference between natural and artificial is everything. If these are natural objects, then we need to redefine our models of the galaxy. We need to understand how such high-energy, structured, metal-rich interstellar objects form, and why they arrive in synchronized patterns. But if they're artificial, then someone out there is watching us. Someone has been watching us. For a long, long time. Either answer changes the story of humanity. Forever. So we wait. We wait for recontact. For reappearance, for re-entry into visual range. Every second that ticks by brings us closer to revelation, to confirmation, or to another silence. This time, even more profound. These are not just space rocks. These are messages, not in words, but in presence. And their presence demands attention. They're still behind the sun, still silent, still hidden, still unaccounted for. SILS 2025 R2 SWAN and 3 I/ATLs, both gone dark, vanished behind the solar disk, unreachable by every sensor we have. No radar, no optical confirmation, no telemetry, just emptiness where there should be motion. This is the blackout window, and in this narrow stretch of time, the world holds its breath, because the question isn't whether they'll re-emerge. The question is what condition they'll be in when they do. Unchanged, altered, gone. If they reappear exactly where models predict, behaving exactly as they were, it'll be a moment of temporary relief. But even then, the underlying mystery won't fade. Their existence is still an anomaly. Their properties still defy explanation. Their synchronization, still an unresolved warning. But if they re-emerge different, if their trajectories have shifted, or their energy levels have spiked, or if one fails to return entirely, that will be something else. That will be proof of interaction, of change, of control. And the silence from official agencies is only making things worse. At this stage, there should be updates, even cautious ones, statements, acknowledgements, any indication that the highest levels of scientific and governmental authority are taking this seriously. Instead, nothing. That silence has a shape, and that shape suggests fear. Or worse, knowledge. Maybe the agencies watching this already know what these objects are. Maybe the lack of disclosure is not about confusion but containment. Because once you admit that two alien objects, possibly probes, are inside our solar system and potentially communicating with each other, or with Earth, the world doesn't go back to normal. You don't just carry on, you rethink everything. You reevaluate what it means to be observed. You question what else is out there. And more than that, you wonder how long this has been happening. Because if 3I/ATLS and SWAN are artificial, then someone, somewhere, is responsible. A civilization capable of interstellar engineering, of building machines that survive galactic distances, of launching synchronized missions from different points in space, arriving at the same time, converging around the sun. That's not accidental, that's deliberate. Which brings us back to intent. What are they doing here? Observation? Scanning? A systems check on the solar neighborhood? Are they automated, running on programs written eons ago, or are they still active, responding to inputs, making decisions, carrying out instructions? Either possibility is terrifying. One suggests we've been under watch longer than we can imagine. The other implies we're now being directly evaluated. Now. And what do we have to offer in return? Radio signals, nuclear waste, satellites wrapped in aluminum foil and hope. Compared to them, if they exist, we're still crawling in the dark. So maybe that's why the silence persists. Maybe the truth is too heavy for global disclosure. Maybe the idea of an intelligent presence monitoring our solar system destabilizes too much at once. Religions, governments, borders, economics, all based on human centrality. And now, for the first time, something is here that didn't originate with us, isn't shaped by us, and doesn't care about our lines in the sand. That's the kind of truth that can't be packaged into a press release. It has to be absorbed, slowly, carefully, or it leads to collapse. But silence has consequences too. People see what's happening. Amateur astronomers track these objects. Spectral data leaked. Observatories in South America, Europe, Asia, many of them caught the same anomaly. You can't hide that forever. And when the blackout ends, when 3I/ATLS and SWAN emerge, there will be nowhere left to hide. Either the objects will follow their predicted course, or they won't. And if they don't, then we're dealing with controlled motion, intelligent motion. That would change the narrative overnight. Every satellite, telescope, and sensor will turn to that reappearance window. Every analyst in every defense agency will freeze. Because deviation would mean guidance. And guidance means they're not just passing through, they're here, deliberately. And we weren't ready. Maybe the ancient structures knew. Maybe the builders of Stonehenge, of the pyramids, of the temples that align with the heavens, they saw this before. Maybe they left warnings we dismissed as myth, cycles we ignored. Now the cycle returns. Not in metaphor, not in story, but in reality. Two objects, interstellar, powerful, timed, aligned. This is not a chapter in a book. This is the book, and it's still being written. So stay aware, stay tuned. If you're paying attention to this moment, if you understand the weight of what's unfolding, then make sure others see it too. Hit the like button so this story spreads. Share it with those who still think this is just science fiction. Leave a comment with what you think comes next. And subscribe, because what's waiting on the other side of the sun, that's not just the next story, it's the beginning of all of them.